you and I have had this discussion a lot about how the definition of woman, and when people speak of women in not just in the career space, but in other social spaces, political spaces, that Black woman is carved out of that. So we wanted to discuss today how that carving out of Black woman from the definition of woman affects us in the workplace as we navigate these spaces.
Yeah, it's really interesting because one of the main ways that this comes out is, have you heard of equal pay day?
Yes. Okay. Which one?
Right. Everyone thinks that equal pay day is someday, somewhere around in March, which is when women, their pay equals what men do for the year. So we work all the way into March, and then at that point, we're starting to make around the same amount. That's how much extra work it takes for a woman to begin to make the same amount as a white male. However, the reality is that isn't for women. That is for white women. And every other sub-ethnic group of women actually has a different equal pay day, and they're significantly later in the year than equal pay day in March. And so a lot of times when we're having these conversations, the exclusion of the other is implicitly there because we're not talking about everyone's experiences. We're talking about white women's experience.
Right. You know, what's interesting to me, too, is when we have conversations like these, people will think, oh, well, you know, that's a conservative issue. But it's my progressive-minded white friends who tend to be the ones, like I was at a AAJ conference at a women's event, and the speaker said, you know, and we've got, you know, a ton of women in leadership, and Black women too. And I was like, oh, shoot, I didn't know we weren't included when you said women. Like, I included myself, but you clearly did not. And I think what people will go, well, why is that a big deal? It's a big deal because it transfers into the workplace. It transfers into how we're viewed by our counterparts, right? And how people interact with us and opportunities that we're provided, and protections that we are not provided. And so I think that it is important for us if we are going to have a platform addressing women's issues, to start it off by talking about the fact that as Black women, we are often excluded from that definition.